My blackberry patch. As you can see, each row is grown up with grass. I haven't been diligent at all about keeping the grass out, but the only way I know to keep the grass out is Roundup. And you know, that's, some of y'all hate on me for doing that, but that's the only way you know, if you mulch it, if you fertilize it, the grass comes to it. I mean, good gosh. And if you weed eat it, then you're taking a chance of hitting the plant. So the only way to be sure without hurting the plants, and Roundup may hurt the plants, is to use Roundup. I usually use a half strength Roundup. But that's beside the point, because I just don't know what I'm going to do. I've got 2 or 3 good plants on each row. These are 100-foot rows. There's 1, 2 good plants on this row. 3, that's decent. And that's about it. I've got a couple more plants on up there, but not anything special. On this row, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decent plants. So, I think my plan is to take cuttings from these plants, start me some new plants, and I'm going to experiment. I haven't decided whether I'm going to completely do away with this and plant in containers, or plant in containers as an experiment. These are obviously, I don't know, this looks better actually than last year, a little bit better than last year. Well, most of that green you see in that grass is something, I don't know what it is, something like, looks like buckwheat almost. It's not blackberry. Only the ones sticking up pretty high are blackberries. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to, what do I want to do? Do I want to experiment? Do I want to cut these down after I propagate? Trying to decide. I'm in a quandary. I'm never going to, I say never, I don't like to use the word never because I've had to eat never too many times, but it is my intention to never have another 𝘽𝙾𝗾𝙍𝙍 operation, not because I didn't enjoy it, but not because it wasn't profitable, because both of those things are not true. It was profitable and I really enjoyed it. However, I am not comfortable with having people on my property without having the liability insurance to cover them. And homeowners will not cover, if you've got a business, and that's what this would be, small as it is, homeowners insurance would not cover someone coming out and paying to pick blackberries in your patch that got snake bit or something. You know, they may be allergic to wasps and they get wasp stung and die. You know, I mean, you just don't know what can happen, and you don't know what people are thinking about and looking for to sue you. They'll do it in a heartbeat. You know that, I know that. So you know, because I'm not going to have a 𝘽𝙾𝗾𝗍𝙍 operation for the public, I don't see any sense in having, you know, 700-800 feet of blackberries. A few blackberry plants is all I need. And you know, I would probably allow family to come over, friends, whatever, if I kept 1 row maybe or something like that. So the plan was to just leave this mulberry tree here, plant this entire row right where I'm sitting. I'm sitting on the row. Plant this row 100 foot in on either side of the mulberry tree in blackberries. However, that mulberry tree is supposed to get pretty dang big. Well, the bigger it gets, the more it shades out blackberries. The more blackberries are shaded, the less they enjoy life. So, you know, I could do, my plan was to put some other fruit trees in this row, maybe do an espalier type trellis for fruit trees on this row, but I've got so many fruit trees that really aren't making all that well, that and some that do, but I mean some that don't. So I don't know whether that's even a great option for me, just something else to take care of that I really don't get any benefit from. But what I may do is just leave 1 row, try to really work on this row here, cultivate it, and and don't worry about the other 2 rows. Maybe even dig some of these plants up, some of these good ones, and put them in these, transplant in these rows in the fall. This is not a good time to do that, but shoot, I just don't know what to do, and I don't know. Maybe you can help me. I don't know whether you can or not. I had an interesting comment on my video about the devastation just a couple of months ago, about the devastation of this patch, and a guy wrote that he has like 400 container blackberries that do very well all on drip irrigation. That is intriguing to me, even though I have land to put them on. If gophers and this is not great land. This land right here is just, I mean, some of the worst land I've got. A hard red clay, and it's just terrible, terrible, terrible land. But so, even though I've got the land to sprawl out and plant anything I want to plant within reason, especially the older I get. The older I get, the more likely I am to not be able to go out and plow and cultivate and this and that. So I'm definitely going to be experimenting with some container gardening next year, and perhaps that will include blackberries. So again, you know, if you've got any ideas about what I should be doing with these blackberries, I know it hurts your heart for me to mow down blackberries, and it does me too, but they're just not they're not doing me any good. They're just you know, they're trouble. They're trouble that I'm getting nothing out of. I probably got a handful of berries to this year that, you know, just as I was mowing past them, would stop and pick, because they just, and most of them didn't really taste that good. They didn't, I don't know, they didn't taste ripe, or they tasted overripe, or I don't know, just didn't, they weren't as I remembered them. So anyway, you know, if you got some comments and just, I don't know, if you're interested in me doing some container gardening, and especially maybe container blackberries, I'd like to know about that, and because I think it would make an interesting series to for those of you that don't have a lot of land and don't have you know, maybe just have a patio but would love to grow blackberries, or would love to grow tomatoes or whatever. I've seen some real good videos on container gardening. I'm going to my brother-in-law has a big container garden this year. I'm going to go check it out, try to video it soon. And anyway, I would appreciate any comments you have on what I should do. I don't think an option for me is to try to rejuvenate this entire patch, because I just don't need it. I'm not going to open it to the public anymore. So it's just too much for me, for my family. So, and I get people calling me every year, and you know, the last 3 years I've told them, sorry, I just don't have anything. I'm gonna try to take you past another place, try to go over there and video another place that kind of inspired me to do this blackberry patch. And they're over they're 10 or 12 miles from me. Had a huge U-pick operation. I had about 700 feet of blackberries. They had 2,500 feet of blackberries or more. I think it was at least 25. I forget exactly. And you drive by right now and it is gone. They have mowed them down. I talked to her about 2 years after I planted mine, and she said she's having trouble, that they weren't producing, they weren't coming up, they weren't spreading, they were dying, they were this and that. And that was about 2 years ago. And apparently they figured just like I'm figuring, it's just not worth the trouble. They're dying. They're dying. So, and blackberries do have a lifespan, so that's part of this. These are reaching the end of their lifespan, and they're just it's more berries than I need. And since I'm not going to bring in the public, why do I need them? I want to continue to have them. Love me some blackberries, and I enjoy making blackberry videos for you. But would you enjoy blackberry videos that we're talking about container blackberries in my experimentation with that. Let me know in the comments below. And if you think I'm crazy for mowing these down, then tell me that too. I don't care. I've been called a whole lot worse than that recently. All right, that's it. Happy Thursday. And let me know what you think. I need to water that mulberry tree right there. Need to water it. All right, we're gone. Somebody's gonna go bale some hay. Somebody gonna go bale some hay. That's the second one to go by. It must be a big shindig going on. All right, I'm gone. Bye.